Every single upload, download, and shared message creates a temporary, vulnerable pathway across the internet. These invisible lines of communication process massive amounts of personal and corporate information every second of the day. If those pathways are left unguarded, anyone with the right tools can intercept the data flowing through them. For an individual, that means a total loss of privacy. For an organization, a single intercepted transfer can trigger massive financial penalties and permanently destroy their reputation with customers. Protecting a computer is no longer about building a thick, static wall around a hard drive. True digital security requires actively guarding data while it is in continuous, rapid motion. Attackers generally rely on two primary methods to breach these pathways. The first is social engineering. Social engineering is the psychological manipulation of human error, like tricking a user into handing over a password through a fraudulent email or scam, which allows attackers to bypass technical defenses entirely. The second method relies on malware. Malware is a broad term for any unauthorized malicious software, specifically designed to execute hidden tasks on a user's device without their knowledge. This animated diagram illustrates how that happens. A single malicious node attaches to a clean network grid. Once inside, it quietly extracts, corrupts, or destroys private data, spreading its localized corruption to adjacent nodes before the system administrators even realize they have been breached. Because these scams and malicious programs evolve daily, defenders face a paradox. To stop an attacker from stealing your data, you must learn exactly how to attack your own systems first. This proactive approach is known as ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is the practice of deploying the exact same offensive techniques used by malicious actors, but doing so with explicit organizational permission to find weaknesses. Security analysts apply this through a strict methodology called penetration testing. Penetration testing involves systematically attacking your own infrastructure to locate and document the breaking points before real hackers can exploit them. This diagram displays how that testing works across three main domains. A central target server is actively probed through pathways labeled web, cloud, and mobile. When an analyst successfully breaches the server through a vulnerability, a defensive barrier is developed exactly where the probe hit. By documenting the exact method, the analyst creates a permanent security patch. The next probe is blocked, and the server remains completely secure. Real digital security is never passive. It requires a continuous, aggressive cycle of intentionally breaking your own infrastructure, finding the flaws, and rebuilding it stronger. To break into a system, you have to know exactly how it is built. The internet operates as a stack of interconnected networking layers, each handling a different part of the communication process. Look at this 3D diagram showing a stack of distinct networking layers. As a data packet travels downwards and upwards through these layers to reach its destination, it must pass through different, highly specific security protocols at every single level. Hackers actively look for the invisible gaps or weak handoffs between these layers. If a connection isn't perfectly secure, they slip in and intercept the data packet as it transitions. You cannot hack, test, or secure data if you do not understand how networks route that information layer by layer. Knowing the architecture is an absolute prerequisite. A reactive target waits for the alarm to go off. A proactive cybersecurity professional understands the network routing intimately and seals the gaps before the data ever moves. Multiply that single data packet by millions. Massive corporate organizations process sensitive data points simultaneously across vast, complex networks every minute. A single structural gap at that scale leads to cascading consequences. An organizational leak instantly triggers mass privacy violations for everyday users and devastating financial losses for the company holding the data. Because the stakes are so high, there is a massive, urgent demand for cybersecurity experts. Companies need professionals who can continuously test and secure their infrastructure against an evolving threat landscape. The trust and flow of global data entirely relies on this hidden army of ethical hackers. They keep the modern digital economy functioning by finding the cracks in the armor first. Cybersecurity expertise has moved beyond the walls of massive corporations and high-paying career paths. It is now a necessary life skill for navigating the modern world. Understanding how malware functions and how social engineering manipulates human psychology is the only reliable way to protect your personal privacy and keep your family safe online in 2025. The first step to active defense training is synthesizing what you've learned today. You have to be able to explain the problem before you can solve it. So here is your first assignment. Head down to the comments and answer the question, "What is cybersecurity?" in your own simple words. Prove you've taken the first vital step from a vulnerable target to an educated defender.